Okay, we should be back. Hopefully I've got the title right. Let me check Twitch real quick for that. Oh, Twitch, come here.
Thayrin and Rylea playthru MSQ 6
6,
comma dot as opposed to 6.1 part 2 and part 4.
Blitty bleep 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 bleep.
It was close.
Oh, come on. I got rid of that.
It doesn't believe you.
Yeah, a part of the problem is that I go and click in OBS to update the information, and it won't necessarily take with the keyboard. Or it'll take half of it and then discard the other half, and it's really annoying when it does that. Okay, we're back onto MSQ. So I guess we need to head to that there. Follow me. But yeah, that was actually some really good runs. Oh, you can tell we're slowly tightening our game with that.
Okay, Thavnir, you say?
Go to Old Daw first, then we can go to Thavnir.
Right.
You cannot get to Thavnir directly from Gold Saucer, but you don't get charged anything if you go to Old Daw first, which does connect through.
Yes.
The fact that we're actually starting to get connecting lives with, or connecting lines with the airships is hilarious. It's been how many years?
Razdatan.
Indeed. No more tea. Yummy, yummy tea. Actually, I think we want to go to Mega Duda. Yeah. Yeah, we do not want to head to the Mihin. We actually want to head to Mega Duda. But yeah, I'm stupidly proud of that Titania takedown. We did get her, what, 3 times?
I think so.
That is not shabby, especially considering we are so undermanning it after the stat squish. And we almost did it with no echo. We were this close.
Yeah, that one was surprising.
But the first takedown was like, oh my god, I can't believe we did this. Because everyone was dropping like flies.
I think the second one was the one that it was just me. Tank flex for the win.
Yes.
As soon as I escaped from the vines on that one, I was going, yep, I've got this.
Yeah, the fact that we'd already taken care of the second round of ads and water puddles, you could totally do it. Because pallies are awesome.
Yes.
Estinian?
Not quite as good as an old-fashioned Survive-It-In, but hey. Vritra is warming to his role as satrap. Clearly, all those years behind the curtain were not spent napping.
No, he was not.
Pay no attention to the dragon behind the curtain.
He's not behind the curtain anymore.
Nope. Bridging the rift. The veteran Radiant wishes to share his gratitude. Thank you for putting forth Kalzal's name. Those whose lives he enriched will take comfort in seeing his legacy honored. You will forgive me for not speaking sooner, but I bear a message from Archon Y'shtola. She asks that you meet her at the High Crucible at your earliest convenience. Understood. Thank you. Y'shtola must have finished her study of the Void Gate. Shall we hear what she has to say, then? I will go with you.
Makes sense. You have a stake in all this, after all.
Not to mention, he has yet to hear why exactly we're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the satrap would be too busy setting up the foundation. My clerks have been well-oiled cogs of this administration since before Iwan assumed the office. They understand what needs to be done. And I am curious to learn what conclusions your Archon has reached concerning the gate's unique construction. As you wish. Allow me to lead the way, Your Excellency. Those two make a good pair.
Yeah. I am glad to see that the dragons are slowly getting integrated to the rest of Eorzea as a whole.
I'm glad to see Mystinian is slowly getting integrated to the rest of Eorzea as a whole.
Yes. He is no longer a ball of piss and vinegar, but I think a lot of that piss and vinegar was due to Nidhogg, and Nidhogg
yes.
was a giant ball of piss and vinegar. There's no other way around that.
Oh yeah. But the fact that he's managing to grow and find something past all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike certain people who shall, damned well better stay dead this time.
I have a stupid theory.
Don't you dare.
What?
Your theories end up being right too often.
My theory is, yes, Xenos is dead, 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 dead. His soul is not. And his soul is now on the 13th as Chaos.
I don't think we have to worry about that end of things. I am willing to bet he's been there all along, whoever that is.
We shall see. The thing that really kind of gets me is way back during the middle of MSQ, it shows Xenos playing as a Reaper, and he gets a specialty model for his avatar that we've seen nowhere else in the game. Period. Bar none. And they use...
You mean the oily thing that you keep needing to wash off?
Yeah, well. And usually, as game development, to do a specialty avatar for a one-shot side solo duty in an MSQ, yeah, they have bigger plans. Astidian?
For one who claims it is too late to save his sister, Breacher seems awfully interested in whatever revelations Y'shtola might have to share. Shall we hear what your scholarly comrade has to say?
Yes, we shall. Y'shtola?
Thank you, Action.
Right, here we all are.
You discovered something new.
I took a closer look at that device. I was able to determine how it keeps the Void Gate sealed, but not how it might instead be employed to expand the opening. For that, I would need to reference the technique developed by Vreetra's alchemists, no records of which appear to have survived the intervening years.
We know this, so why have you sent for us? Have you learned aught of value or not?
Patience, good sir. One must introduce the subject before launching into specifics. From what we understand, travel between worlds is accomplished by passing through the nebulous rift which exists between them. Picture, if you will, the moment you were called to the first. You touched a focus of some kind to help the Exarch pinpoint your location. His summoning spell then channeled the energies of the Crystal Tower to begin your journey to his world. The magics tore a hole in the wall separating source and shard, and cast you into the intervening nothingness. In that place, the laws of nature hold no sway.
What are you getting at, Stola?
Yet even through this realm of temporal and spatial instability, you were borne safely to your destination in the first. The feat that guided you across such an unimaginable distance, both physical and metaphorical, was nothing short of a miracle.
Yeah, and that's why we haven't been able to repeat it.
Then what
Now,
if the
there
men
is a
avoid
pertinent
found
question.
the source? Who guides them here, and how?
An excellent question. Though there are several methods by which the Void's denizens might intrude upon our world, the rituals of summoning are the most typical. For example, let us consider the Gargoyle, a creature of middling power.
Yeah, the Thaumaturges summon stuff all the time, typically by accident. They have a whole menagerie of void scent at this point.
To call upon such an entity, the prospective summoner must force open a void gate. The portal lasts but a moment and is relatively small, allowing only an imp or other lesser being to squeeze through with their physical body intact. Our more powerful gargoyle, however, is too large for that. Creating a gate big enough for him would require vast amounts of energy, far beyond the reserves of any one mortal practitioner. Instead, 'tis far more common to bring over only the entity's soul. We had a taste of that ourselves when a certain Exarch dragged us to the first. And just as our bodies remained in our world, the Void Sense physical form is left behind in the 13th. Once at its destination, the summoned soul is granted a temporary shell to inhabit. In the Gargoyle's case, a stone effigy has proven a suitable vessel.
You said that Voidsent must be called here deliberately by someone in the source, reeled in like a fisherman with his catch.
Exactly. For a being to navigate the chaos of the rift, with or without form, there must needs be a guiding agent on the other side.
When the hordes poured forth from Alag's Great Gate, it was the technologists who drew them through. Though to my knowledge, planar fissures are in essence natural passages between our world and the void, which require no such guidance to traverse. Why is only the boundary between the source and the 13th so fragile? So much so that it often tears open of its own accord.
I believe solving that mystery is key to understanding travel between the source and its reflections.
And how do you intend to get your answers?
No, the danger is too great.
Perhaps, but what some call danger, others think of as adventure.
Were you not listening to my tale? Never mind that the means to expand the gate has been lost to the ages. Even could you force the portal wide enough, you would be greeted by an army of murderous horrors the very instant you step through.
I assure you I was most attentive, and I agree that to go alone would be certain death. But if I were to bring along one who has already braved the 13th and humbled the cloud of darkness, well, I imagine my chances would be much improved.
Count me in!
Yep.
We've already accepted this quest long since.
I had a feeling you might say that. Once again, I put my life in your ever-reliable hands. That said, as much as I would like to march straight back to the Void Gate, there is the small matter of being unable to open it without the Satrap's personal authority.
Am I supposed to give him large allegiance
As I've
eyes?
said before, I will grant you and yours any boon you choose to name, provided it does not endanger my people.
You have my word that we will take every precaution. Not a single Voidsent will be allowed to threaten Radzatan, assuming we manage to expand the portal in the first place.
You have a plan.
Actually, I had hoped you might help us with that. I presume the alchemists you retained supplied you with some explanation of their methodology.
That they did. House Daymir was overseeing the project.
Daymir. Ah, yes. The family associated with the great work.
I did not fully comprehend the theory, but their research began with a Voidsent which had slipped through the fissure. After a thorough examination, they created an arcane simulacrum possessed of similar qualities. A man-made Voidsent, if you will. It was apparently indispensable in their efforts to enlarge the gate.
A man-made Voidsent.
Yes. Being great admirers of the Archons, House Daymir submitted detailed notes to Charlene's official committee. They expected praise and accolades for their simulacrum, and were thus devastated to be informed that their work had been classified as prohibited material.
Understandably.
Don't we know someone who's an expert at sneaking around the prohibited archives?
If that's true, then But those notes might still be stored in a forbidden archive somewhere. Not Google, of course, since that library...
With Graha's favorite place to sneak around.
Which leaves us with...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with Graha's favorite place to sneak around. Him and his levitation spells because the bookshelves were too tall.
Indeed. Numenon's restricted stacks may very well hold a copy.
Oh, he's gonna love this.
I say we head directly to Charlian.
Kryl might not be too happy to lose her assistant again.
Unless you anticipate needing help to reach the high shelves. I see myself being of little use. Go on ahead. I still need to find Mirad and tell him about the Khalzal Foundation.
Fair enough. And as
Would
pointed...
one of the tall people like to get a glass?
Yes!
Let us be on our way as well.
Or would that be with one of those tall people like to get a book?
Yes.
Vershawn is uncertain. I don't blame him.
Yeah.
They are resolved to
We
vengeance.
are kind of fiddling around with
Do I
things.
sit idly by?
Yeah, sorry, Vitra, but we already accepted this quest of yours. Whether
we really
you want
need
to or
explain
not.
to him that part of the end goal is to get to the other 12 reflections.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, time to bring up my theory on things that hasn't been mentioned on air, since they were talking about the fact that it is a lot easier
Yeah,
to
once
get
you get...
between the source and the 13th and any other reflection.
I think I have a working theory on why. Now,
Well-
or correction, a working hypothesis.
Yeah, and of course my thought was it's basically because the 13th is a failed rejoining already.
Yeah, it was
That
trying to
permanently weakens the
rejoin
barrier.
and it fell to darkness before it could actually tip over
Yeah.
like a floodgate. And that's why it's so unstable.
And
Okay, I'm not alone in that thinking then.
well, that was the one that that's the theory I was telling you the other night. And some of it is the fact that it is in an unbalanced state, I think.
Oh, it's totally
actually also
unbalanced.
causing it.
It's
You
as
know,
far
because
from balanced as possible.
All the shadow aether is still trying to flow back to the source,
Yeah.
which does imply that the
Mhm.
second easiest place to get to is probably the first.
That would make sense because it was teetering on that edge, but then
Yeah,
started
it
pulling
never
back.
It never actually started the process of rejoining, which is why we aren't getting the natural appearing tears.
Mm-hmm.
But if you could set something up to artificially create a tear, you have a much better shot at doing it with the first than any of the other remaining reflections.
Well, here's another hypothesis. Pure hypothesis. Is that the way you can travel to each of the shards, and also the fact that it was on that teeter edge is why the first is time synced with the source now.
Possible.
Is we need to kind of balance a slight flow, not a flood, of ether back and forth so everything time syncs up. It's
Well,
effectively a joining without a real rejoining.
Well, it's less the time sync that you'd be doing. It's actually that's your guidance beam.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, you need a signal on the other end.
Yeah. And the reason why we can travel to the
unless
source,
you have the entire crystal tower's worth of energy to work with.
yeah. And the reason why we can still travel to the first is because we've already tapped into the Aetherites there as our physical bodies.
Yep. Also, the crystal tower itself probably serves as the main
Conduit. Yeah.
I'm sure it makes a big bright beacon.
The same way we have a conduit between Thalmazane and Ultima Thule.
Yeah.
Rashad?
Oh. Is there someone buried underneath all these people watching? Yes.
Yeah.
There's someone buried underneath all these people watching semis.
He is contemplating his navel at the moment. I don't necessarily blame him. Okay, so we're heading to Charlian. Probably the best thing we can do is teleport. Oh, this is gonna hurt.
You knew it was a matter of time, though.
Come here, Aetherite Priority Pass. We love you. Okay, old Charlian, and I've got it favored, so it's not as painful as it should be. Thank the 12.
I don't know. It doesn't cost me anything.
I'm going to take a tax out on you, girl. Oh, there's Shnola. Waiting patiently by the Aetherite. Hey, girl.
There she is.
So, what's the plan on sneaking into the Forbidden Archive? I probably shouldn't be saying that out loud in the public square, should I?
No, you shouldn't.
If we're to enter the Nomenon's restricted archives with minimum fuss, then we must secure the permission of the Forum. First, however, we shall need to enlist the cooperation of members to broaden the matter on our behalf. Who do you think might be inclined to assist us? No one springs to mind?
Maybe a couple.
What of Scholark Montaigne?
Mm-hmm.
He did come to Graha's defense at the inquiry, after all. 'Tis settled. Let's head to the phenomenon and see if he's willing to help us once more.
Right. You can really stop with all these warning messages. We know. We've been through this several times already.
Small talk. If I was pressed to name an ally of our forum, Scholar Montaigne would certainly be at the top of the list. Hopefully he agrees to aid us with our request.
True to that, it's a question of, are there any scholars who are known to have an insatiable curiosity about void gates?
Actually, while I know she wants to keep things in Charlian and going after the Forbidden Archives is a good idea, or the restricted archives, part of me wonders if we should go talk to the Buki brothers.
Yeah. Problem is they won't have enough of a grounding in theory of the type that we need right now.
True, but they do have practical knowledge. You have a good night,
Yes.
Battle Axe. Thanks for joining us.
Yes. It's good to have you along. You have a good night.
I'm trying to look for any talkable locations, and I'm not seeing any.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Buki brothers and the Order of Thaumaturges. Oh, there's a talkable right in front of the phenomenon. Discuss the studium. I appreciate that Master Matoya at the age of 7, or I apprenticed to Master Matoya at the age of 7, and labored under her tutelage for a full decade. Never had a chance to attend the studium. Neither did Thancred, as I recall. Soon after Master Louisoix took him in off the streets, he was put into the care of another Archon. His was rigorous and practical education in the arts of espionage and survival.
And how to pretend to be a bard.
Yes. Sometimes I wonder what my life might have been like had I pursued studies here instead. Tea at the last stand after a day of lectures?
Yeah.
Oh, that does sound lovely. Afternoons with friends spent sipping tea and debating theories. Still, I wouldn't give up my time with Master Matoya for the world. A dank cave I studied in was about as far from the bright, airy halls of academia as one could get, but it was wondrous, magical childhood nonetheless. That's good to know, actually. Checking the talk. If I was pressed to name our allies for Monte
No, that's the same as it was.
Before. And
What did I know?
the
Went over there on me.
oh, we want to go to Phenomenon. Where is Phenomenon? Oh, Phenomenon's way in the back of the studio. But I was about to say, the Buki brothers, they have a nasty habit, all the thaumaturgists do, of occasionally summoning void scent when they don't mean to. So there is something to be said about that.
Yep.
I mean, that's how we unfortunately got Mr. Octopus. You know who I mean.
Yeah. Very well.
Probably how we got Greg, too, in my theory.
Greg is a void sentinel. There's an idea.
I've been thinking Greg's a void scent for quite some time. He's just a goofy void
I don't think
scent.
Greg is anything that simple. Though he is a very simple person in some ways.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Ultros, thank you, Action.
I wasn't going to say the name.
Mr. Tentacle Grape himself. Hello, Montechain. Nice to see you again.
Visitors. And quite esteemed ones at that. What may I do for you?
Pray, forgive the intrusion, Skullark, but we were hoping we might help us secure permission to enter Numenon's restricted archives.
Oh. No furtive forays into the stacks this time, eh? Not if we can get permission. If we can't, on the other hand... I applaud this newfound sense of propriety. Yet in all this wide world of comparative serenity, what so compels you to disturb a vault of forbidden wisdom?
You're gonna like this one, Montechang. Trust us.
Fascinating. I had no idea such a technique existed.
I would have been surprised if you had. My assumption is correct. The research left behind by House Damier has lain dormant in Charlene's archives for many centuries.
And if you unearth this research, what then? Surely you don't intend to cross over into the void. Time to look innocent again.
That is, in fact, precisely what we intend.
To what end, pray tell?
To develop a method of traversing the rift, for one, that I might keep my word to a distant friend. Sentiment aside, I have journeyed to the end of existence. I have heard, felt, and thought endlessly about the truth of our world and the echo of its future. And yet, I want to understand everything to unravel it all down to the very last secret. What scholar worthy of the name wouldn't force open a void catered to for a grand revelation that was promised reward?
Marvelous. An audacious proposal worthy of Master Matoya herself. And after hearing the whys and the wherefores, I for one do not believe you would use the knowledge for ill. I see no reason not to present your request to the forum's consideration.
Thank you.
Although, your petition would be better received if you also had the support of another well-placed acquaintance.
Oh?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Called it. Why, Master Fortuna, of course. You can hardly ignore an earnest request from his dear children's most trusted and treasured comrades.
He'll probably only grant it if we don't tell Alphino and Alice about this. What? Correct? I was hesitant to approach him directly, but there is no denying that having Master Fortuna on our side would tip the balance in our favor. Very well. We will pay a visit to Leviar Estate and plead our case.
Pro tip, go to the mother first. One last thing before you go. I would consider it a personal favor if you might share with me the discoveries you make in the void. My appetite for knowledge is every bit as insatiable as yours, I'd wager. So if you could see your way to indulging an old man's curiosity.
Of course, Skalark. We would be sure to pass on any revelations. Actually, I've got a revelation for you concerning the 13th, but you're not gonna say it. Oh, sorry, Yishola. Didn't mean to crowd you there.
Oh.
Mata Game seems optimistic, but I doubt convincing Fortuna to champion our cause will be as simple as showing up on his doorstep.
Get him through his wife. The forum can be a cantankerous beast. One needs a persuasive voice to get it moving in the desired direction.
Yeah, her concern is knowledge. My concern is restoring the 13th. I mean, we've already got those wheels turning.
Yeah, well, admittedly, figuring this out would do a lot for trying to get Eden to the 13th.
Well, even if we don't get into the 13th, I'm actually more concerned with Unukalai and, oh god, I'm blanking on her name. CL? I don't think that's quite right.
No.
But they were two of the original heroes.
Yeah.
From the 13th. And they exist kind of in a physical spirit form on the 1st currently. Bounty hunting and tending bar, respectively.
Mm-hmm.
But we did promise to help them restore the 13th, and that's been, over an expansion ago.
Well... Yeah, okay, yes.
So now we have basic three pieces of iron in the fire concerning the 13th. We have CL, I'm butchering her name, and Unukalhai wanting to restore the 13th, and we can see the possibility of how that can happen thanks to everything that happened in Eden. We have Vitra's sister and the last of the Great Worms hiding out on the 13th. Whether she's been turned into a void synth or not has yet to be determined. But the possibility she hasn't remains. It's kind of like Schrodinger. Is this Schrodinger's dragon? They are both simultaneously a void synth and not as a void synth until we find them.
Not going there.
And then, of course, we have Y'shtola using this as the wedge to figure out how to traverse all the
Mhm.
shards, not just the 1st and the 13th. Hello, House Levier Butler.
Ah, Mr. Rylea, Master Thayrin, Mr. Y'shtola, how may I be of service?
We've come to speak with Master Fortuna. Is he home by chance?
Yes, the master is in residence. I shall inform him that he has guests.
Thank you, good sir.
Well. Annalise would invite you inside for tea, but I assume this is not a social visit. Have you some matter of import to discuss? Then pray proceed. You have my full attention.
Ah, you're gonna love this one.
We want to use the restricted section for the use and not the other use.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I suppose I should praise you for following the proper protocols this time around.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Sneak into the restricted section once and they'll never let you forget it.
Scholar Montague expressed much the same sentiment. I assure you, we are not attempting to circumvent the forum's authority again, unless it is absolutely necessary, of course.
Now there's a threat. Of course. You do understand that the restricted archives are restricted for good reason, yes? No pressing need exists, then why risk the consequences of employing this forbidden knowledge?
For a brother who misses his sister, she was his guardian and his friend, a selfless hero who crossed the rift between worlds to save her homeland from horror and suffering. But the brother has given up on thoughts of reunion. He spends his efforts elsewhere, watching over a people yet healing from the flames of the final days, loyal to his duty while betraying the longing in his heart. 'Tis no vital mission, perhaps, reuniting these siblings, but it feels a worthwhile cause to pursue all the same. As one who feared losing his own loved ones and spent years in research to prevent this, surely you appreciate how painful such a separation must be. Ooh, she is laying it on thick.
Hitting below the belt.
But it's all true.
Reflections are still very much a mystery to us. Offering to share your experiences in the first should constitute a fair exchange for cooperation. I can I can carry any measuring devices you want over and take readings and come back. Do not celebrate just yet. The forum must still be convinced. I will add your request to the list of today's deliberations and deliver the decision to you at the Baldessian Annex. Fortuna has been added to the Unending Codex.
Nice. House Levia?
Please do come again. We're always glad to receive such close companions of the twins. Yeah, you've made that clear on numerous occasions.
The matter is out of our hands. All that remains is to return to the Annex and wait for the forum's decision.
You don't want to watch the debate yourself? Maybe slam your staff into the stones dramatically again?
You know she wants to.
Who wouldn't?
Okay, back to the annex. I'm kind of looking around for talk circles and not seeing any.
Yeah. I was a little surprised we didn't get one in front of the house there. Mansion.
We might have gone a wrong direction. I don't know.
No, I mean literally in front of the mansion.
Yeah. We shall see. But first, we have to get to the annex. So many happy bunny mammoths. Oh, here we go. Of course, this is our ending point. So, what did the forum decide?
To put it bluntly, Master Matoya has burned some bridges here in Sherlian, and salted the earth for good measure. It became clear that her student was the petitioner in question. Well, no few members voiced their discontent. Then the chamber was reminded, in no uncertain terms I might add, the incredible debt we owe you and your companions. I wonder who did that reminding.
Oh, don't look innocent, Fauchino.
That served to silence the grumbles and stiffen a few spines, and it was agreed that allowing you entry to the archives was the least we could do in return.
That is wonderful news. Thank you both for speaking on our behalf.
Yes, well, as I am sure you are aware, this permission was not extended lightly. Forbidden knowledge is to be treated with the utmost caution, and there will be repercussions if it is not. I wish you well in your endeavor, and bid you good day. He can be so severe even when being friendly. Ever the same, that one.
He's off to do something reckless, isn't he? Uncompromising? Aye. But the very stoicism is exactly what Charlene needs to guide it through not one, but 2 exoduses. No worries, Doodles. We still got about 20 minutes, so you have time.
Something like that.
Montajang. I really like the skull arc.
Oh, yes. If I were but 5 years younger, I'd cast aside my lectern and join you on your adventures in a heartbeat. Just
Hey.
5? Dang. You're up for it. Don't kid yourself.
Let's be honest. If Louis could do it and he was older than you could totally do it. Oh god. Behind us.
The fresh-faced student. I was wondering about him before we went into the...
That is
City.
going to be the Alliance raid.
Right.
We'll deal with that
Later,
later. That went rather well, I think. As a
Better than
child,
the last time.
that's most certain. As a child, I dreamt up any number of schemes of getting my hands on those forbidden tomes, and now I can simply walk through the door.
It's fun that way.
Our focus will be on finding House Daramir's research notes, of course, but though the thought of so much knowledge at my disposal has me feeling a little giddy. I'd like to set out as soon as you're ready. All right, Martha Chang, what do we got?
Restricted reading. Shane is waiting to offer you further instructions. You'll be heading directly to the archives from here, I presume.
You presume correctly.
Then you'll want to speak with the index page when you arrive. It's been instructed to grant you access to the restricted section.
Excellent. Once again, we thank you for all your help.
Oh, it was my pleasure, believe me. May you find the knowledge you seek.
Shall we?
Let's shall. Yes, stop that.
Talk. Come along, Thayrin and Rylea. Numenon and its forbidden wisdom awaits. Oh, you were so happy about this.
And Graha is going to be so disappointed when he finds out he missed all of this.
Yeah. He wants to get in the stacks so bad. Gives him an excuse to learn the levitation spell again. But yeah, I'm surprised this is coming up so early, but we will see how it plays out.
Hi, Pudding Way.
Bye, Pudding Way! When Pudding Way moves from there to the last stand, that's when we want to pay attention. Because that means Pudding Way has the samples to try. To think a set of instructions I laughingly imagined may actually exist, but yalms away from where you found me napping. If I had known that Aladzaz III's exploits sooner, we could have saved myself days of research. Even a child's book might have pointed me in the right direction. To achieve the impossible, one must needs be flexible of mind and look beyond the conventional wisdom. A lesson I have already learned, but clearly not taken to heart. Come along, Numenon and his forbidden wisdom awaits. Heart emoji. You know it. Ah, there's the index page.
Yes. Archon Y'shtola and guest identified. Do you wish to proceed into the restricted archives?
That would be a yes.
Follow me if you would. Watch your step and please note that the use of naked flames is discouraged. Don't blame you.
Wow, this is a stack?
Yeah, this is a new set, isn't it?
Yes. And a new theme.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, but it's a modification off the Google theme.
If House Daymir
Yes.
is an answer to be found anywhere, it will be here. Let us begin.
After you, Y'shtola.
It's an interesting take on the theme. My.
Y'shtola. So many books I've yet to read. Yes, we're here for one specific volume. You don't need to remind me. Untitled Journal.
today, in a world not my own, I met the most beautiful void-born creature. She was so unlike her ravenous brethren, eyes blazing not with hunger, but trembling, like a candle's flame, threatening to flicker out at any moment. I wonder if she is even the proper word. Such distinctions seem inconsequential, insignificant even. All that matters is the love I feel for this exquisite, transcendent being. Untitled Goldsmith's Journal. Though you're tempted to read more, this does not seem to be the volume you're seeking.
I think he ran into a
Related-
succubus. I see no more on the first level.
Nope. The adjacent stairs to the weighty tome?
Yeah.
Should be, yeah. Primal Disquisitions. In the year 1564 of the Sixth Astral Era, the Amalja summoned Ifrit, their patron god. Accounts describe the being as a gigantic lizard-like being with a potent command of fire-aspected magics. If we consider that primal summoning is an act fueled by faith and prayer, it is unsurprising, if not unexpected, that the resulting deform entity should manifest the appearance and powers with which it is attributed by its worshippers. What then might emerge from the aether should one who believes in an almighty omniscience attempt the same ritual? Would the scholar himself grace us with his presence? Some other embodiment of divine sagacity? Could this man-made god truly be all-knowing? And if it were, whence would such knowledge arise? I myself have many questions concerning the nature of the ancient world. With no spell to transport me back to the days of old, could I instead summon a being possessed of encyclopedic wisdom of every age? With no means to verify its pronouncements, how could one be certain they were true? Though your mind spins with the possibilities discussed therein, this does not seem to be the volume you're seeking. Clockwise?
I don't see anything clockwise, only counterclockwise, which is the leather-bound log.
Yeah, okay. I thought there was more than two things up here.
I'm not seeing any others.
No, you're right, there's just the two.
Okay. This sounds promising.
Epiphanies of House Daymare.
Daymare. Ding!
The following pages detail an advanced method for manipulating rift-spanning apertures as devised by Nushashan, the ninth patriarch of House Daymare. We present these research notes to the faculty of Shirley's Studium as both a token of our friendship and an expression of our boundless admiration. You appear to have located the forbidden volume you seek. Ystola will need to make the final confirmation.
Let's just put that under one arm and tootle on down.
Ystola, don't get too lost in the book. I don't care how Ooh, that does look interesting. Can you take a time out to read this?
No.
Oh.
I have something you'd like to show me, do you? My apologies. I flipped open but a single book and was completely absorbed in the contents. I noticed.
Epiphanies of House Daymare, a forbidden research log detailing an advanced method for manipulating rift-spanning apertures, as devised by Nuhashan, the ninth patriarch of House Daymare.
Well done, you two. I think you may have found our prize. Yeah, we seem to be lucky about that.
Yeah, well.
That does
Now
look
we're
like...
back to the normal.
Yes, the ether
Google
signature is
library.
unmistakable. I've felt the traces of House Daymare's resonance many times at the Great Work. Time to see what all the fuss was about. Among the
Atmos.
ranks of the Void Sent,
Yeah.
there exist entities with the power to call forth their brethren from beyond. The species known as Atomos, however, is uniquely prodigious in this regard. From its distended maw, it can expel an endless procession of void-born creatures. A talent which sorely tested the Radiant Host in its battles against these abominations. Surmising that the entity itself was acting as a void gate, we endeavored to capture a small specimen and subsequently examine its physiological structure. Our findings revealed that the Atomos had absorbed a planar fissure into its own flesh, which it could expand at will into a functioning gate.
Interesting.
Upon further analysis, we identified an ethereal wave pattern emitted during this process. A pattern we were able to emulate by passing crystal-stored ether through a specially designed prism. We proceeded to embed said prism into an arcane simulacrum, thus completing what we have dubbed our artificial atoms.
Well,
It's not a bad working theory.
How could I have been so blind to the possibilities? This species, not to mention its ability to summon Void Sent, has been discussed among academics for years now. Just before the advent of the 7th Umbral Calamity, we received reports of Atomos sightings from every corner of
I
Eorzea.
haven't heard.
Surely you've at least heard the tales. And still, House Daemir went and built a mock Atomos of their very own. I'm not surprised the Archons consigned their work to a restricted archive. It was no easy task, but at last we've unearthed the volume we've been searching for. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't tempted to stay longer. See what other forbidden titles might be lurking on these shelves.
You could spend a lifetime in here, Shola, and we don't have that.
Ah, but that would be abusing the very special privilege we've been granted now, wouldn't it? Better not.
Now here's an interesting thought.
Eorzea has been added to the Unending Codex.
Mm-hmm.
7th Umbral Calamity has been added to the Unending Codex. Congratulations on locating the object of your search. Please move along.
Well, here's an interesting thing. This expansion, they basically made it lore that, yes, the treasure maps do actually port us in, and they do port us out.
Yeah.
And how many Asmos have we been sucked in and barfed out of during our time for
Oh,
treasure
yes.
mapping?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I wonder if those are all artificial Asmos.
Atomos.
Yeah.
There's a... Yeah.
So that means there's a house out there that has a great treasure vault that is producing artificial Atmos. Yay! Can we borrow one?
Yeah, thank you for that thought, which will keep me up all night.
As much as I would love to start crafting this Atmos, I'm afraid this is far outside my field of expertise. Fortunately, we know a Hannish alchemist who would be delighted to involve herself in our House Daemir project. That we do. Our business here is concluded for the moment. Please pass on in regards to the forum.
Your message will be conveyed. Should you wish to indulge in more forbidden literature, I will be here. Patron mode disabled. Security mode engaged.
If anyone can help us, Nidhana can. I say we return to Thavner and look for her at the great work. We'll have to do that tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I say we go get a nibble at the last stand. We earned it.
Always.
Maybe they have some of that rainbow pudding on the menu.
Pudding of happiness.
It's only a matter of time with pudding away on the job.
Yeah. So, when do you suppose the next time we will get the new version of the Google Library theme?
I do not know, but I would not be surprised if one of the new dungeons that come in the future will be either here or a different restricted section in Google. Which isn't that restricted considering we can just walk in and say, hey, Master Motoya, can we go check this? And she's like, sure, whatever, don't get yourself killed.
Yep.
I am so glad she's not our enemy.
Someone to stay on the good side of.
Indeed. Okay, well, we call it a night here. It is that time.
Yes.
Thank you all very much for coming along. We will be on tomorrow, probably in the afternoon, to do more MSQ. Knock on wood. The reason why we didn't do it this afternoon is we actually went and did the Easter stuff, so we can do that with the buns tomorrow night. And probably at 7:30ish, we will be back, probably working Titania. I don't know if we'll stream that or not, but we'll just play it by ear. The guys are out at BabsCon, so we're taking full advantage of it.
Something like that.
Thank you so much for coming along. We will see you tomorrow afternoon. You guys all take it easy, be safe, be well, get a good night's sleep, and hope to see you later.
Yeah, everyone have a great night.